In just seconds, we arrived and passed through the walls of one of the eggs, as if we'd passed through a cloud. The platform stopped and came to rest gently on the floor of the building. I looked around me in all directions. It seemed absurd, but the egg had disappeared. We had indeed entered the egg, and yet around us, as far as the eye could see, stretched the countryside. We could see the landing ground and the docked spaceships just as though we were outside. "I understand your reaction, Michel," said Thao, who knew what I was thinking. "I'll explain the mystery to you later." Not far from us were gathered 20 or 30 people, all busy to some extent, in front of desks and screens which flashed with colored lights, similar to inside the spacecraft. A type of music played very softly, elevating me to a state of euphoria. Thao signaled me to follow her, and we headed towards one of the smaller eggs situated near the supposed inside walls of this larger one. As we went, we were greeted with happiness by all we passed. I must mention here that Thao and I made an odd couple as we moved across the room. The great difference in our heights meant that, as we walked side by side, she was obliged to move slowly so that I didn't have to run to keep up. My movements were more like ungainly jumps, for each time I tried to hurry, I exacerbated the problem. I had the task of coordinating muscles that were accustomed to moving a weight of 70 kilograms and now had only to move 47 kilograms. You can imagine the effect we created. We headed for a light that was shining on the wall of the small egg. In spite of my mask, I was very conscious of its brilliance. We passed beneath the light and went through the wall into a room that I immediately recognized as the one featured on the screen in the spaceship. The faces, too, were familiar to me. I realized I was in the intergalactic center. Thao took off my mask. "It's all right for now, Michel. You won't need it here." She introduced me personally to each of the dozen people there. They all exclaimed something and put a hand on my shoulder as a gesture of welcome. Their faces wore expressions of sincere joy and goodness, and I was deeply touched by the warmth of their reception. It was as if they considered me one of them. Thao explained that their principal question was, "Why is he so sad? Is he ill?" "I am not sad," I protested.